Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka Mono Bluetron, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. We've got a new ban list, a new bunch of heroic toys to play with, which you can bet I'll be doing Thursday, but before we jump headfirst into the new format, it's time for this month's Trinity Tournament. Like every month, if you want to try out Yu-Gi-Oh's third best format in a free tournament with cash prizes, look no further than the description. This video aims to give you a quick rundown of what the format is and some interesting stuff that looks good. This month we're taking a peek at Kozmo, Blue Eyes ShinoBEWD, and Piper SPYRAL. Before we get into individual lists, however, here's a crash course on what Trinity is for any of you who are new to the format or forgot the rules. Trinity is an alternative Yu-Gi-Oh format with 3 rules, like, a Trinity. The first is that you're only allowed to play one of any individual unlimited card. The second is that the minimum deck size is 30 cards, but for every 5 additional cards you go over the main deck minimum, you can play 1 additional copy of an unlimited card or an extremely powerful semi-forbidden card like Pot of Greed. And 3, you can only summon effect monsters 3 times per turn. And that's it. Of course, there are rules for corner cases and an FAQ, which I'll link below. If you need anything explained in further detail, feel free to ask in the Discord that's also in the description. So with that, let's check out some decks. The first deck we're trying out is Kozmo. I'm sure Kozmo needs no introduction. It's a mediocre deck that enjoyed several months of success in the TCG, so it's no surprise that it's fine here as well. Most importantly, its ratios are a stone's throw from one-ofs already, so it's an easy port. We're playing 30 cards, which means it's reasonable to find Tin Can, and even if we don't, we have other pilots. The Kozmo ships are huge beaters, and there's not a ton of really effective non-targeting removal in Trinity, so 3 or 4 of these bad boys is usually enough to seal the deal. With that, let's get into the card by card. First, we have Kozmo's Dark Eclipser, Forerunner, Landwalker, Dogfighter, Slip Rider, Dark Lady, Wicked Witch, Good Witch, Farm Girl, Sword Troopers, Strawman, and Tin Can. We've also got a couple of hand traps, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. For spells, we have a copy of Instant Fusion for Tribute Fodder and a Utility Instant Package, 1 for 1 to find Tin Can, Upstart Goblin, Cosmic Cyclone, Emergency Teleport to once again find Tin Can, the Monarch Stormforth, Premature Burial, Kozmo Town, and then our traps, Heavy Storm Duster, Torrential Tribute, Back to the Front, Lost Wind, Metaverse, Cosmojo, Call of the Haunted, and Solemn Warning. In the extra, we've got a couple of Cyber Dragon fusions in case we're boarding into Sidra, Invoked Raijin, Panzer Dragon, and Thousand Eyes Restrict as our instant fusion package, Constellar Pallades, Valkasaurus, and Stone King Darius for Xyz, Topologic Bomber Dragon, Guy Saber the Lightning Shadow, Troy Mare's Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus alongside Proxy Dragon and Link Karibo. So with that, let's check out a game. Our match is up against Vampire, probably the deck with the highest potential in Trinity. Someone's going to win a cup with this list pretty soon. We're going first, which is excellent, and more importantly, we've found a way to make Tin Can. We'll fire off an Emergency Teleport and set to going to end step to activate Tin Can's effect. We get a Forerunner to hand, and because we are beholden to the whims of E-Telly, we have to tag out right now. Our opponent's going to start by normal summoning a Gozuki, then sending a Mazuki from Graveyard, foolishing into a copy of Fraulein, a big threat in Trinity, and then attacking, paying 1,300 so they can get over our Forerunner, and allowing us to tag out into Landwalker. They'll pass it back to us, and thankfully we have removal for the Fraulein, so it's not that big of a deal. We'll go ahead and go into a Thousand Eyes Restrict, take that sucker right now, and then go into Link Karibo. We'll attack into the Gozuki. They will go ahead and use its effect to get out a Solitaire, but to prevent any summon limit shenanigans, we'll go into Dark Eclipser as well, get in for 2,500 and 300 points of damage. We'll set a copy of Torrential and pass it back to our opponent. They're going to activate a Hornet Bit, then go into a Hayate. Next, they will normal summon a copy of Unizombie, use its effect in order to send a copy of Shiranui Soldier to the graveyard, then send a copy of Mizuki from hand so they can bring that back. That allows them to banish this copy of Dark Eclipser, but unfortunately doesn't deal with the Landwalker, and we should be able to win from this position by normal summoning a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, activating Torrential Tribute, then special summoning a Farm Girl from deck. We can get in 4 lethal damage by tagging out. The second deck we'll be taking a look at is ShinoBEWD. That's ShinoBEWD, but the bird removed for BEWD, copyright 2018, Mono Bluetron. As a buff to ritual decks, Trinity makes special exceptions to the one-of rules by allowing any deck to play 3 copies of advanced ritual art. This drastically improves the life of any deck whose stars line up favorably with the most powerful vanilla archetype in the format, Blue Eyes. As any Table 500 player will tell you, ShinoBEWDs are some of the most powerful rogue playable monsters available, and rogue playability matters immensely in this format. By setting up enormous bounces of monsters or spells and traps, then pushing for lethal with Blue Eyes monsters, ShinoBEWDs can easily OTK, and routinely, the deck doesn't actually need to see them at all. This list, though slightly modified, propelled Prawn Wizard to a 3rd place finish after Swiss. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First, we have the big boy himself, 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon, and make sure you're playing the correct art, it matters. 1 copy of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, and a second one as a Trinity it's good enough to splash 5 cards for. Next is a Dragon Spirit of White, followed by a Mono Iwato, Senju of the Thousand Hands, Sonic Bird, Manju of the 10,000 Hands, the King of D, Aratama, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, the White Stone of Ancients, the White Stone of Legend, Sage with Eyes of Blue, Maiden with Eyes of Blue, and Effect Veiler. After that we have our rituals, ShinoBEWD Peacock, ShinoBEWD Peacock, and Lord of the Red, a card that's shockingly playable. After that are our spells, 1 copy of Return of the Dragon Lords, Pre-Prep itself, Trade-In, Dragon Shrine, the Melody of Awakening Dragon, and a second one as our other Trinity, Dragon's Mirror, Dragon Revival Rhapsody, Foolish Burial, 3 copies of Advanced Ritual Art, 1 copy of ShinoBEWD's Calling, Mystical Space Typhoon, Cosmic Cyclone, Twin Twisters, Premature Burial, Dragon Ravine, and Upstart Goblin. In the extra deck, we've got our Dragon's Mirror targets, Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, and our defensive threat, First of the Dragons. For Synchros, we have Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, and Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. For Xyz, we have Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon, Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy, Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, and Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. Guess if I made any of those up. For Links, we have Gaia Saber, Nightmares Phoenix and Cerberus, and Link Haribo. With that, let's jump into a game. Our match is up against Flip. This extremely powerful strategy is a current candidate for best deck in Trinity and took down the most recent Championship Cup. However, most of the strength of this strategy lies in the skill of the individual pilot, and as you have been so eager to point out in the comments section, I don't think this pilot is particularly skilled. We're going second, which is great for a hand which is full of hand traps. Our opponent's going to activate Hidden City to get themselves a copy of Warrior, normal summon an Armageddon Knight, sending a copy of Darkworm. We will let it resolve, and they pass it back to us. We're going to start by activating Upstart Goblin. We found an 8, so we'll go ahead and activate Trade-In, followed by Melody to get ourselves an alternative. We'll go for that, and then attack for 1,600 points of damage, then pass it back to our opponent. Things are looking okay. We are not in danger of triggering this copy of Shaddoll Fusion. They're going to go into a Darkworm, normal summon a Nemesis Warrior, activate its effect to go into an Umastrix, then activate Hidden City to flip it face up. We will Ghost Ogre in response, which is excellent because it means on our turn we can go ahead and destroy that Umastrix, probably the best card in the deck. We're going to set this copy of Cosmic Cyclone and pass it back to our opponent. They draw a Shaddoll, so they can Shaddoll Fusion into a Sheki Naga, then use Falco to set itself. They'll pass it back to us, and we kind of get baited here. We'll activate the effect of White Dragon, and there's Sheki Naga activating to destroy it. We'll normal summon a Namano Iwato, then attack into the copy of Shaddoll Falco that we know is set, so its effect doesn't trigger, though I don't think there were any targets anyway. Our opponent's going to switch this Shek to attack mode and deal 2,600 points of damage. Set a coin Roma. We'll go ahead and banish this copy of World Legacy Pawns. Really important to do that. We draw into a Twin Twister. We'll Twin Twister our own thing to get a Blue Eyes in Graveyard, then activate Dragon's Mirror to get ourselves a Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon so we can eat through the entirety of the board with an Amano Iwato on board. At end step, we're going to put that Amano Iwato back in our hand and dare our opponent to top deck. They draw a copy of Cosmic Cyclone, not particularly good. We play potentially a little bit reserved and just attack directly with Blue Eyes Twin Burst, but we have kind of all the time in the world. Our opponent draws into a copy of Dragon. That's not particularly threatening. Because we have an Amato in hand, we'll go ahead and normal summon him, then start attacking. We get in for 1,900, destroying the Dragon and attacking directly for game. Finally, let's take a look at Piper SPYRAL. It's been known to be good for a fair amount of time, but SPYRAL has only received special attention as a result of Xenos Repus's first-place finish in the Flood Season Tournament of Champions. This deck combines the immense power of SPYRAL with the Good Stuff engine featuring none other than the chubby boy himself, Mystic Piper. While it masquerades as a Piper draw engine, the real payoff to the strategy is Kinkabayo, who, when reborning Quick Fix once per turn, can easily draw you enough cards to win the game. Since we're restricted to 3 summons a turn, the normal Helix plays won't cut it, and as a result we're relying on the smaller SPYRALs to pull their weight alongside fully armed, an immensely powerful equip spell with a ton of relevant effects. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First, we have a copy of SPYRAL Tough, followed by Super Agent, Supreme King Dragon Darkworm, Juragato, Zephyros the Elite, Spygal Misty, Heroic Challenger Thousand Blades, Goblinberg, Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser, Spiral Gear Last Resort, Mathematician, Spiral Quick Fix, Kinkabayo, Spiral Gear Drone, Effect Veiler, Mystic Piper, DD Crow, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. For spells, we have Instant Fusion, 1-for-1, Creature Swap, Reinforcement of the Army, Mind Control, Foolish Burial, Cosmic Cyclone, Spiral Gear Big Red, Premature Burial, Spiral Gear Fully Armed, Twin Twisters, and Traps. We have Torrential Tribute, Lost Wind, Ring of Destruction, Metaverse, Compulsory Evacuation Device, Spiral Mission Rescue, Fiendish Chain, and Solemn Warning. For our Trinities, we've got a copy of Magical Scientist and a copy of Spiral Resort. In the extra deck, we have a copy of Invoked Ragin, Sea Monster of Theseus, Elder Entity Norden, Thousand Eyes Restrict, Coral Dragon, Tornado Dragon, Castel, Exoton Knight, Gaga Cowboy, Sylvan Princess Sprite, Gaia Saber, Double Helix, Nightmare Phoenix, Lan Falinkus, and Linkaribo. So with that, let's jump into a game. Our match is up against Dark Combo, an extremely potent deck that aims to use very powerful cards like Dad alongside the Knight Assailant loop and enablers like Snipe Hunter to blow us all the way out. Thankfully, we have some very specific answers in our opener. We're going to go ahead and fire off this copy of Reinforcement of the Army for a SPYRAL Super Agent, and while our first turn play looks pretty mediocre, our follow-ups are excellent. Our opponent's going to Dark Grepher away a copy of Knight Assailant and a copy of Skarm before ending their turn and adding the second Knight Assailant to their hand. We draw into a Ring of Destruction, which is great. We're going to go for a Super Agent, miss it, normal summon it anyway, and get over the Dark Grepher. We're going to pass it back to our opponent. The first thing they do, of course, is normal summon Snipe Hunter. We will go ahead and Ring of Destruction it, taking 1500 and dealing 1500 in the process. They will Premature Burial, but we have the DD Crow to banish that sucker. That's pretty good news for us. They're going to set a Mirror Force and pass it back, and what do we draw but a 1-for-1? We'll fire that off for a Quick Fix. That Quick Fix is going to get us a big red. We'll go into a Double Helix. Double Helix is going to add a singular copy of Spiral Tough to our hand before we go into Super Agent off of this big red, destroying their Mirror Force and getting in for 3,800 points of damage. We'll pass it back to our opponent, but I think the writing's on the wall for this one without their combo. They're going to normal summon a Mathematician, send a card, and concede. So that's that. I hope this video got your creative juices flowing, and I do hope you'll try out Trinity format. If you decide to, links to every deck we played today will be in the description, as well as a link to the free tournament that you can sign up for the next 2 days. If you want to see me play the decks I make on this show on stream, I'm on twitch.tv/monobluetron every Monday evening from 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time, and if there's a certain deck or archetype you want me to take a look at on a future episode of this show, let me know in the comments section and I'll do my best. Otherwise, I'll see you Thursday.